Hey guys, what's up? Isaiah here, bringing you the very first episode in this whole Let's Code series. What I'm going to be doing is sort of running you through the first language we're going to be using, which is processing, and showing you a little bit of things with that, showing you the ropes, how to do things, how it works, and really just so you can get familiar with it before we actually jump into doing any classes or functions and codes and things like that. So if you haven't already done this, go to processing.org, go over to download. You can donate if you want, you don't have to, and you can download processing, the latest version, for whichever operating system you're on, whether it's Windows, Linux, or Mac OS. Once you have that, you're going to want to go ahead and open it. And as I said, processing is a language that is built around the idea of being visual. So as you can see here, you're gonna see like sketch a lot anytime you open up a new tab within processing or a new file or anything like that. It's fine. There's a lot of sort of art phrases and stuff used, but we'll get through that. So the first thing I'm gonna have you do, really before jump into any of the hard stuff, I want you to type println, open parentheses. You're gonna hit quote hello world, if I can spell right, hello world, and parentheses, semicolon. And once you're done with that, you're gonna go over here in the top left corner and hit run. So what you did was you just wrote your first line of code. It's pretty much everyone's first line of code. It's super simple. It's very not complicated. To break it down, you told the computer to print on a line the words hello world. You can change this to be whatever you want. You can change it to your name. When you run that, it'll print your name. You can change it to numbers, and when you do that, it'll print the answer. So it's really sort of a basic function or method, as it's called, that lets you do a lot of very powerful interactive stuff. Again, just wanted to sort of introduce you to programming, how the app works. You type here, you use these to start and stop things. Output is put down here at the bottom, or as we'll get to in a bit, in a separate box. That more or less is the basics of processing. You can change some of the settings and preferences, depending on what you're working on, Windows, Mac, or Linux. You can save things, export, copy code, examples, things like that. But again, we'll just sort of get to that later. Now that we have this done, you can go ahead and stop it, and I want you to delete what you had. In processing, there are two functions, which a function, by the way, is nothing more than just a group of code that you are sort of predefining. You're having what lines are going to be in the code sort of already put to the side, so that whenever you need to use it, you can just call the name. Similar to a variable. I don't know if you're familiar with, like, in math terms, you can have the variable x, and x can equal any number. You can change what x is equal to, and you can have multiple variables. A function is like having a variable for multiple lines of code. So yeah, back to what I was saying. Processing uses two functions that are very, very important to any project you're going to do. The first is going to be setup, and the second is going to be draw. So we're going to get these down. We're going to sort of run through it a little bit, show you a little bit more how they work. So to start, you're going to want to hit void. You're going to want to type void setup, open close parentheses, open close curly brackets. And then below it, you're going to hit void draw, open close parentheses and curly brackets. Now, setup is a cool function because setup is run once and only at the beginning when the program you're writing starts, whereas draw is run multiple times per second. If you're familiar with frame rate, so like in video games or movies, frame rates is nothing more than the rate at which a frame or a picture is drawn multiple times per second. The code that goes in setup is run once, and the code that goes inside draw is run multiple times per second. So in setup, to sort of demonstrate this, in setup, if you go between the two curly brackets, you're gonna hit enter, and then on a new line, You're gonna want to tab in also. Sorry if I'm jumping around a little bit. I'm just trying to pick up sort of the need to know things as I go about them until we get to more planned out and organized things. But you're gonna want to hit tab just for visual reference. You get a visual hierarchy of where things are. You might not really see the reasons why now, but later on it'll definitely be relevant. But you're gonna want to do print line, like how we did before, exactly how we did before, and inside you can put hello world again even. So we know what this does. And then in draw, we're gonna do print line goodbye. Oops, and I forgot my quotes. There we go. So you know exactly how we had it last time. In setup, it's gonna say hello, and then in draw, every time draw is run, it'll say goodbye. So if you go over here and play this, you know, right off the bat, you'll notice you just see goodbyes, and every so often you'll see a little flicker. If you hit stop, and if you come down here, this little dot at the bottom of the typing box, you take that and you drag it all the way up, you'll see that there's a whole bunch of goodbyes. In fact, if you scroll all the way up, you'll see that there was only one hello world, and then just tons and tons and tons of goodbyes. And that's because every, you know, multiple times per second, it was saying goodbye, 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 goodbye. And that's what draw does. So that's pretty much the basics of what draw and setup are. That's really the emphasis that you want to really go into things knowing. One thing that or I guess the next thing that we'll go on is talking more about that box. If you know, when you press play, a little box came up, you know, to the side of whatever window you were working on. Well, that can also be manipulated, and that's actually where we're going to do most of our work, is going to be inside that box. We're going to do very little stuff down here, just for, you know, visual sake. You know, we want to be visual, we want to learn easy, and we want to go about things quickly. So if you get rid of both the hello world and goodbye, in setup, what we want to put is going to be size, quote, we'll do 100 by 200, and you want to end that with, you want to close the quote, or close the parentheses and then put a semicolon, and then below that you want to write background, open, let's do 0 for now, close, semicolon. Right. So now if you hit play now, what you'll notice is that this box now looks a little bit different. The size of it is 100 pixels wide by 200 pixels high, and that's gonna be the way that everything in processing and everything pretty much in code is actually described. Most things will be width and then height, and then if it is involved, it's gonna be depth, but we won't be getting into much things that deal with depth. But we'll be dealing with a lot with a height and a width. You might see this height and width also represented as X and Y. If you look at a grid system, X, you know, like a coordinate plane or anything like that, X goes, you know, width-wise, height goes, or Y goes height-wise. The different thing about processing is that while X will go along, you know, this is going to be X at 0 and this is going to be X at 100. Processing, the top is the least Y, and Y gets bigger as it goes down. So if we wanted to make a point, this point here would be 10x and 10y, because it goes to the right 10 and then down 10. Again, we'll get to more of that in a little bit later. But you know, definitely play around with setup, play around with draw. You know how to print line. Change it to different things. You can do math, you can do words, you can do select characters. You know, play around with that and really just start to get the understanding of how setup and draw works, because they are pretty important pieces. We'll be building a lot onto those later. And yeah, if you have any questions, leave it in the comment. I might have answered it already in the next video, so be sure to check that out. But you know, again, we sort of showed you this world, sort of showed you a couple of the things you can do with it. Very few, but we're gonna build on it, I promise. And as a little treat, I'll actually go ahead and show you what the first project we're going to be doing together is. So the first project we're actually going to be doing together is this app I made called Painter. It's a very simple app. It's very, I would like to think it's intuitive. What it is as you click and drag your mouse, or if you click and select places, you draw. I mean, it's really simple, but it's it's fun, it's cool, and it shows you a lot of the different sort of parts to making an app. You can change the colors with the num keys. You can hit blue, you'll color blue. If you hit yellow, or change it to yellow, you'll hit yellow. It's really cool. You can hit C to clear everything, or you can hit S. I'll just make something. Or you can hit S to save a picture, which I'll show you when we get there to where it saves. But yeah, I mean, it's really light program. You can do a couple cool pictures with it. Nothing, you're not gonna make any Picasso or Photoshop pictures, but it is really cool. It's something you can show your friends, and it's something that you would have made yourself. So yeah, that's pretty much Painter. It's a cool drawing app. It's something you can show your friends. More importantly, it's something that you will have made, and that's really the most important part. So if this looks cool, if this sounds cool, and it's something that you think you're going to want to do, be sure to like this video, subscribe to this channel, and check back often for more videos. I'll be doing this all throughout the week. We'll probably have 2 or 3 videos go up every week, so that you're not overloaded with things, but so that you actually are learning at a decent pace. Yeah, and just be sure to check back and let me know what you guys think. Alright, so until next time, see ya.